There is a lot of frustration right now in the Clash of Clans community when it comes to ranked mode. I feel there are three main problems. I'm going to give 3 solutions and also discuss a few holistic questions I have regarding ranked mode. But all of the problems we're going to discuss in this video, I have already given that feedback to Supercell weeks ago. I am making this for 2 reasons. Firstly, I am a bit more passionate about the problems I'm discussing.
Why do we have to get a fucking stupid ass ranked mode that nobody fucking wanted? Why? And it fucking sucks.
Because this is a hot topic, there's a lot of people talking about it. I see people saying that tier 3 creators should step up and speak about it, but that doesn't have to be via videos. When you work your way up through the Supercell Creator Program, as a tier 3 creator, we have direct communication with the Clash of Clans team via a creator chat. Not just me, lots of creators on behalf of their community share feedback direct with the team. I make my honest review videos around updates. I enjoy doing that. People are interested as to my thoughts about a specific update. But in between, I don't need to make a video about every single piece of feedback I send to Supercell. I'd be on forever, because we provide feedback about things that are active in the game, whether it's upcoming features for sneak peeks. We can provide that ahead of time as to what we feel our community will respond to and what they won't. I dare not say, on many situations, we have helped Supercell to dodge an onslaught of negative feedback because we have been able to identify things that the community wouldn't like ahead of time and share that with the team so that they can fix it. Now, that's not always the case, because sometimes we can provide feedback and they are drawing from other pieces of data or they have other goals in mind. That means that they do not listen to that feedback, but we do provide it. We can then have a discussion with them, and we're way more likely to come to a solution by chatting through it with them, not just ranting about things in videos. I appreciate you do not see that behind the scenes, so it's understandable that you might not realize that happens, but hopefully this video helps to enlighten you that it does. I feel like as a creator, especially once you have a community that has helped to support you, you have an obligation to share that feedback with Supercell. Whether you're right or wrong, constructing that in a professional manner and sending it to Supercell means that we are doing right by our community, and equally the Clash of Clans team want to make the best game possible. Yes, they have other objectives such as making money, but as a creator, being more in tune with the community, if I know something that could be helpful for them because they're making the game for the community, then it would almost be disingenuous to not share that feedback with Supercell. So again, everything I'm discussing in this video, I've already shared with Supercell. Wanted to make that clear from the off, but now let's go through everything, because right now I feel there are quite a few problems in ranked mode, especially when it comes to the top area of ranked mode, Legend League specifically. So, first of all, I have watched all of the Legend creators' videos regarding this topic. Ace, Gavin, Shock, I know Itsu recently put out a video, but I shared all of that feedback with Supercell weeks ago, and I went through the comments of them all to make sure that what was being said was echoed in the community as data points that I could share with Supercell on behalf of the community, not just my community. One thing that has been discussed across numerous of their videos is the meta, and this is absolutely a problem because in Legends League, the modifiers were fine at Town Hall 17, but when Town Hall 18 came around and it became more difficult, there is only like 2 main strategies that you can use. Everything else you can 3-star with, but you can't get to the top of Legends League. You have to go with Meteor Golems or Totems alongside a combination of dragons. So I feel like the meta is a main issue right now, in that it is not just stale, it is extremely lacking in diversity. Now, when Root Riders and Valkyries were the top of the meta, modifiers weren't necessarily in place, so you could get other stuff to work, and the skill expression made up for that. Whereas right now, I think Shock said it best in his video, that a lot of the more technical attacks, Warden Charge into Rocket Loons, which is what I used to enjoy at Town Hall 17, you literally can't play right now and be at the top level. So it feels like the attacks with more skill expression were the ones that were not necessarily nerfed, but didn't translate into Town Hall 18. And that is a lot to do with what Itsu spoke about, in that we didn't get any of the meta troop new levels with the Town Hall. Now I think that's understandable when it comes to Root Riders, Valkyries, the Electro Boots. That meta was broken for the longest time. People wanted to shift away from that, so it's understandable that Root Riders wouldn't get a new level. But Rocket Loons, for an example, that was one of those high skill strategies, and it didn't get a new level. So I feel like it should have, and there is certainly a lot of troops that could have got a new level with Town Hall 18 to help improve the variety. Now that is something that will fix itself. However, it's something that I feel Supercell certainly need to try and fix soon. Whilst there is a lot of frustration, make some of those new levels available more than what was maybe intended with the next update. But certainly we need to try and push out the variety that is available. They did recently do the balance changes. I don't feel like they will change the meta very much. However, within the balance changes, they did say that they are going to be constantly looking at the feedback and acting accordingly following that. I feel like the balance changes we just had, though, were all but decided prior to all of this discussion happening regarding the meta. Now, hopefully, we can have more balance changes, but equally it's more about the new levels. Because let's say the Meteor Golems and the Totem Spells, as more defenses get more levels, they kind of see indirect nerfs because they are not getting a new level for Town Hall 18. That is their Town Hall 18 level. So in order to make sure that they are still usable, which don't get me wrong, I'm pretty sure they're going to be given how powerful they are right now, but to ensure they're still usable, they have to survive the lifespan of Town Hall 18. That's typically where meta troops, like the last few years, have always been ones that tend to get a new level. There's some that don't fall into that category, but a lot of time people are really testing the things that have recently got an upgrade. Now, I said I was going to discuss kind of like 3 solutions. That's not one of the solutions I'm going to talk about, even though clearly what I'm saying is Supercell need to keep an eye on that balance, make sure they are doing more balance changes, but also that we are getting more levels like quicker than intended, so that we can hopefully push out the diversity in attack strategies. Before I do move on to my solutions, though, let's go through all of the problems that we kind of see right now. So diversity in meta being really stale, we're not getting those new troop levels. That's the first thing. The second, which I think is one of the biggest factors impacting the meta, is the amount of splash around the base. Now, sure, the long shot, a lot of people talk about that as like, yes, it's really strong, especially when you compare it to like the Smasher, but it does splash. Equally, like there's just so much splash around the base nowadays that it feels like in recent times, following like Town Hall 12 and 13, the amount of splash has just crept up and up and up to the point where Hog Riders, Miners, those strategies just don't work anymore because there's so much splash around the base. Before, you could strategically take out a little bit of an area of splash, make sure you had coverage of healing spells in other areas, but now there's just so much around the base that it eliminates a huge pool of strategies. Now, I think this is a difficult thing to overcome, and my solutions don't link into this because they can't really like take splash away. I guess the one thing they could do is take splash away from the long shot, because that equally is just so devastating against healers or any of those swarm style troops. But I do feel like the diversity in the meta is part impacted by the amount of splash, in that certain strategies are just completely eliminated right now as we've crept up and up. When you look at like Town Hall 14 and 15, I feel like those were fantastic defensive additions. The Battle Builder Huts, at the time people were saying they don't make that big of an impact, but actually they've kind of survived the test of time across the Town Hall levels, and they are very impactful. I mean, just think about the Fireball. If you don't get your 2 Earthquakes onto a Revenge Tower quick enough, and there's a Builder Hut in range, it drastically changes things on defense, and yet it's not like it changed the meta massively on offense. Town Hall 15, the Monolith and Spell Towers, brilliant additions, really, when you look at how they were able to switch up the meta, but equally not just wipe out strategies or pools of strategies altogether. And this is an issue that's been building. I'm not saying it's like one particular defense, but there's just no way for a lot of strategies to be viable right now. Like, they might as well not even give new levels to the Bat spell. Like, there's just no point in them other than if you're just using one of them to tank an air defense or something. But I don't want to sidetrack too much here. Let's go to the third problem, which now shifts away from the meta and the splash around the base and more to where I have solutions towards, because I think this now links into ranked a lot more. Legend League. The modifiers. There is a whole host of opinions on this. A lot of people that say, oh, just get good. And I feel like that's a fair argument. But there's 100,000 people in Legend League. And you need to try and set your own emotions aside to think about what is the best for the game and the general player base within there. And this is something that when I did share that feedback to Supercell, I did say within that, we need to get unbiased opinions on this, and mine certainly is not. And that's one thing that you do have to try and look at what is the best for the game, and that's where Supercell equally have data on that. Because, yeah, like, modifiers aside, balance and, like, difficulty of the game is something that is just widely subjective. Even if you say that the balance of the game, how difficult or easy you want that to be, but then people are happy or not happy with different hit rates within that. So, for example, some people would be really satisfied if they had a hit rate of 2 or 3 attacks per legend day that resulted in a 3-star. That means they were really rewarded for those 3 stars. They felt like the grind was worth it. But then there's other people that frustrates, and sure, they are happy that they don't expect a perfect day, but they want their hit rate like 6 out of 8 3-star attacks. Still means they've got room to improve if they put the work in, but they're just never going to get a balance that is right for everyone, because everyone wants different difficulty levels, different success levels within that, but they need to try and look at what hits the most people to keep the most people satisfied. And they can certainly do that a lot better now with the modifiers in place than they could pre-modifiers. That said, I feel like the problem here with Legend League is not necessarily the modifiers, even though it directly ties into that. It's purely the amount of people in Legend League. Now, this is something that, like, I had hours and hours of discussions with the Supercell team, a lot of those when I was in Finland last summer, about ranked mode. And yeah, like, I gave this feedback that the pro scene in Clash of Clans and the skill gap that you see exponentially as you go up in Legends League is so vast that 100,000 players is just, they just cannot get the balance right for all of those players. As much as people might say Legend League should be hard, get good, all of this stuff, when you objectively look at the hit rate and the skill level of the players in Legend League, once you're like outside, so like top 100 is one thing. Once you're outside of top 100 to 1000, the skill difference is so much different. Once you go from 1000 to like 2000, it's exponentially different, and that continues on. And this is prevalent if you look at any data that shows the trophies per group of Legend League. That's why right now the players at the top of Legend League are like hundreds and hundreds of trophies above anybody else. Now again, you will have people that say, but that's good because the top players can accelerate, and I agree. But that doesn't mean that tens of thousands of players should have an awful frustrating experience at the expense of that. We should try and make the game as fun as possible for the pros, but ultimately it should not be catered to the pros. Even ranked, yes, they should be able to set themselves apart, and I feel with modifiers they will be able to, but Clash is a game at the end of the day, so there really needs to be that balance. And that's where 100,000 people in Legends League, frankly, is just way too much to have a singular modifier for them. Again, I see a lot of people commenting, well, if you don't like Legends, just drop out. But there's a conflict of interest because it is where you get the highest star bonus, particularly when it comes to ore being so sought after. That is clearly what people want to strive towards to maximize the amount of ore, but then it's just a frustrating experience when they get there. Equally, if you meet someone that plays Clash of Clans, you don't ask them, what position did you finish on the leaderboard? You ask, what town hall level are you and what league are you in? So people naturally strive towards Legend League to make themselves feel good. And sure, I think Legend, or the top tier of Legend, should be exclusive to the really competitive players. But why not allow people to feel good about themselves? I think right now Clash does a poor job at making you feel like you're good at the game. There are so many people that are frustrated and feel like they are straight up bad at the game. And that is not the case. Clearly, when you're looking at the pros and the upper echelon of Legend League, well, you're not on that level, but you're not bad at the game. Why make people feel like that? There will be the hardcore active community that say, well, get good. And again, I feel like that's a fair comment, but I'm trying to take a step back here and think about what Clash of Clans need to do, because they have to keep the majority of players happy and enjoying the game. That is the purpose of playing, in order to keep the game alive. There's no job in if 90% of the player base leaves, well then, who cares about who's top of the leaderboard at that point? So they do have to try and assure that the majority of people are enjoying the game. Life is stressful enough as it is. You don't want to be getting all worked up and frustrated over a game that we're supposed to enjoy and unwind to. It's definitely not been the case for me in Legend League. And yes, you want to be passionate and really put everything you've got into something. But at the same token, we need to ensure that majority of people are enjoying the game. Yes, at Town Hall 18, they are way more active than casual players, where the biggest amount of player group is Town Hall 13 and 14, around that level. But again, trying to think about what does the majority of Town Hall 18 players want. They want to enjoy the game, play the strategies they want to use, not be forced into a particular meta that is so different to how they've been attacking previously, and armies that feel spammy and that they don't enjoy. And equally, that Clash makes them feel good, not make them feel bad and that they're terrible at the game. So my first solution is kind of multi-pronged. Firstly, that the star bonus should cap out once you get to the higher leagues, Electro 31. But my second is that once the modifiers take place, or even Electro 31, which people class as fake Legends right now, where there's no modifiers, those leagues should feel special. I'd go as far to say that all of that should just be Legend League, and there's just tiers of Legend League. Something I'm going to link into later, but maybe even bring the daily attacks back for those leagues. Electro 31 is like 5 attacks per day, Electro 32 is 6, then 7 and 8 for Legend League, but make those leagues feel special. People don't want to say, I'm in Electro 32. If you felt like the Electro Leagues was the peak area of the game, it would make people feel better about themselves and want to show off. I'm not saying we don't have that super exclusive area for the competitive players, but this would make it better because it would be more exclusive. There'd be less players in that top tier of Legend, or if they kept these ones as Electro but made them feel special, and then we had Legend, well then, that would still be super competitive. It's where we have the biggest modifiers. It's where the people really trying to get to the top go to, and I don't feel they do that for a tiny little bit extra ore. So just make sure that the maximum ore capacity in the star bonus caps out in Electro 31. That means that people will strive to those leagues. They don't need to push themselves into those higher modifier leagues to get that tiny little bit extra ore and then not have a good gaming experience, because they get that in Electro 31 anyway. If those leagues feel special, well, then they can feel good about themselves, which is a couple of reasons I feel people used to go to Legend League in the old system. So before I move on to my next two solutions, I feel those would go a really long way in firstly fixing the meta, or at least trying to expand the diversity of strategies available, particularly those high skill cap ones, and then lowering the amount of people in Legend so that the modifiers weren't as brutal for as many people that are in there. But then if they get the maximum star bonus and feel like they're in those peak higher end leagues of Clash because those top leagues feel more special, then they don't necessarily have to force themselves into Legends and then have a frustrating time. But my second solution is something that, again, I'm trying to take a step back in this video and not just go with my personal thoughts on this, because this is a problem that I still see a lot of people talking about, so I feel Supercell need to do something about it. But I personally don't care. I do all of my ranked attacks. I am not going to get demoted. But when looking at the issues that people have with ranked, and you hear about long-term players quitting the game, it's trying to think about all of the different areas that are having that impact. There's a lot of discussion, there's a lot of noise. It's trying to see through that as to what the problems are. Sure, there's some bigger ones, but what are some more generic ones? And I'll go into a little bit more of a holistic view after this. But my second solution is to purely extend the amount of time before the league decay kicks in and you are demoted. People still don't like that. And I did a video prior to Town Hall 18 discussing this, giving my thoughts on why I think it's there, most likely because of returning players. And equally, there's an argument that you shouldn't be able to just park your account in the highest leagues and then reap the best rewards. But still, 1 week just doesn't really feel like much grace for more casual players. Yes, you can just use ranked to farm your attacks, but maybe people can't make that distinction as much. Rank feels a little bit more pressured. It feels like you always have to be on the game. Again, not from an active player perspective here, from more of a casual player perspective. And I see this frustration a lot about people talking about the league decay, so I think it should be at least 2 weeks. There's an argument to extend that even further, but 2 weeks would at least feel a little bit better, where you could have a little bit of a breather if you're taking a vacation. You don't feel like you're instantly demoted and you constantly have to be going, and that's just something that can get too much for people. Equally, I've seen this next solution suggested from a different creator, and I think it's a great idea, because right now, let's say you have taken a break, you are automatically demoted, or if just you put more time in and you do want to get up to Legends League, you have to go 1 league at a time, even if you are significantly greater than the league you're in. What if you could actually promote more than 1 league, so the people that are ranked number 1, 2, and 3 at the end of a week actually jump up 2 leagues? There'd still be the same amount of people promoting, it's just the people in those top spots would move up 2 leagues. I think that's a great suggestion, so that you're not stuck going through these different leagues, and you can get to where you want to be faster. Because that is a negative impact of the ranked mode when it comes to, more of the casual play base. You could beforehand just play for 2 hours, get yourself up towards Legend, and then you were at the higher star bonus. You could reap those rewards. Players could do that. Now they can't. And that brings me into just some more general thoughts that I've had recently. Like I said, all of those problems and potential solutions I've sent to Supercell. Other creators have been giving feedback as well. That wasn't the purpose of this video. I've already had that discussion. But certainly with the amount of people making videos and hearing of long-term players setting the game down, it makes you think a little bit more about what wider issues could be. So for example, was ranked even a success? Certainly I like ranked. I think from an active player perspective, it fixed a lot of problems that we had with the game, but it can be hard from an active player point of view to see how the casual, like true casuals of Clash of Clans, if you're watching this video, or you're active on Reddit or whatever, you are more of the active community. People that aren't in that scenario. Maybe they play Clash, just jump on once a day. Maybe they don't even play every day. But it's hard to put yourself in those players' shoes as to how they feel, but how they act in the game as well. How did they respond to this? Supercell has that data, we do not. All we can glean from it is that ranked hasn't been reverted, and there hasn't been sweeping changes to it. So that would indicate that it has been a success. And I do think from an active player's perspective, it does feel like it's more from Town Hall 18 and the meta that a lot of these issues have arose. But engagement in Clash online, on videos, stuff like that, has been down the last few months as well. And just hearing about long-term players quitting the game, this is something that I think Supercell has a difficulty with when it comes to developing new games, because people have been playing, like Clash for an example, but not just Clash, other games. People have been playing that for years. They've put so much time into their village, potentially money each month in the Gold Pass. It takes a lot for them to put that down. If there is a new game comes out, it can't just be better than Clash. It needs to be significantly better for them to shift their time and focus away from something they have had such a commitment to. But sweeping changes that drastically alter their gaming experience could make them do that. And you could argue that ranked was a big change like that. Now, I admired the team's enthusiasm and taking big swings, but ranked is one extra thing where you have to be on the game. You have to be doing this, otherwise you're going to get demoted. It feels a little bit more pressurized, which, with the amount of events and everything going on in the game, that is a good thing, but it can equally get too much for people if they're playing of more of a casual perspective, and they don't want to feel like if they're not on the game 24/7, they're going to miss out. I don't know what that tipping point is. Again, Supercell have that data, just things I've been genuinely curious about. But on the other end of the spectrum, one thing is that you now cannot progress up the leagues at all or do your ranked attacks on a Monday. What type of data do they see from that? From an active player perspective, I don't care about battle mode. Sure, if there's an update and I want to like farm walls and stuff, I can just spam stuff in battle mode. But if I'm not in clan war and I don't have ranked attacks, builders at Town Hall 18 are locked up for a long time. There is literally no need for me to log in on a Monday, and people are routined. Maybe they have a set time where they log in and attack on a night time, but if there's no reason to do that on a Monday, maybe that throws off their routine and perhaps their engagement overall if they start doing other things within that time on a Monday where there's nothing for them to do in Clash. That's where I was saying before, maybe once you get to Electro Leagues, that could feel more special because it does go back to the daily attacks, scaling up over. I know they were concerned that people in low legend didn't do all of their attacks, so they need to get that number right so people can be competitive. But 5 attacks, 6 attacks, 7 attacks, it still works out about the average across the weekly tournament. There's pros and cons of the weekly tournament, but again, just genuinely curious. How does that Monday of not being in ranked attacks affect people and what they actually do in the game? Only Supercell has that data. Equally, trying to think of like what could other aspects of people setting the game down that have been playing for such a long time. I mentioned this in my ranked update thoughts video, but I don't really like the idea of going back to 0 trophies at the start of each week. It doesn't feel like there's as much progression. Yes, you go up 1 league icon, but it's weird to then get to Legend League.
It's too late now. I don't know what the fuck to do now. What the fuck to do? Like, we're gonna go back to trophies? I mean, they just gotta take off the fucking promoting and demoting. At least change it to, instead of being in the top 20, being in the top 35. That's a perfect spot right there. Being in the top 35 is not bad compared to being in the top 20. Because when I get to the top fucking 20 and then everybody starts sweating, they come and take the fucking 20 from me. And just being in the top 20 is just, it's too tight, man. Like, bro, I ain't trying to be trying my ass off in Clash of Clans, bro. Honestly. I'm tired, boss. I'm tired. I've been playing Clash of Clans since freshman year, bro. Straight up.
Where there's 5,000 trophies. I think if the lowest league started at 0, and then there was just a trophy floor where, sure, once you got to like the Electro Leagues, maybe you're at 4,000.
Instead of the top 20, change it to the top 35. That's at least enough for people to play and be involved enough to want to get promoted. And if they don't care about, and take up the demotion. Leave it to the last 5 people to get demoted. Like, who gives a fuck, man? The leagues are so fucking cringe, bro. That shit sucks.
Trophies, and everyone starts at 4,000 trophies when you're battling in Electro 31. It would just feel like there was a more natural progression through the leagues up to Legend. Now, I understand that, let's say Electro 31, it starts at 4,000 trophies. Throughout that week, maybe they go to the daily attacks, as I was proposing, but like, whatever. If it stays at the weekly attacks, you progress up over, you get to like 5,000 something trophies, and then you get promoted, you go to Electro 32? Yes? And then, yeah, you'd reset at like 4,200. So your trophies would go back down, but each league, they're progressing forward. I don't think this is a big issue either, by the way. Again, just being quite curious of trying to think about those wider things that could put people off. Since all of this has came to light about people saying they're not happy with ranked mode, and also seeing that engagement drop off. Either way, though, for those last few points, I'm not saying there's a right or wrong. I don't know what the answer is. Only Supercell has that data. But it's just a couple of things I've been genuinely curious about when trying to think about what wider problems could be and why we hear about long-term players setting the game down and quitting as well. Thought I'd tag that on the end alongside discussing the problems I see, a couple of solutions I would put forward as well. You can clearly share with me your thoughts in the comments, which I'm sure a lot of you might have already done, but I will place a recommended video on your screen alongside my honest review of the ranked update back when that came out, went into a bit more depth than things in this video. Enjoy the rest of your day.
I didn't think it was possible to have even less faith in Ubisoft than before, but here we are with the latest developments. Back in October of 2024, there were definitely aspects showing that Ubisoft was in serious trouble, namely the consideration of a potential buyout of Ubisoft. Now, ultimately, that didn't end up panning out. Instead, what Ubisoft decided to do, as reported here on March 14th, 2025 by Bloomberg, was to seek backers to create the subsidiary that would house some of their most famous IPs, basically like a shell corporation or something like that, just a sub-organization for their top IPs. And then on March 27th, 2025, they made it official. They said right here that Ubisoft accelerates its transformation by laying foundation for a new operating model with the creation of a subsidiary and injection of 1.16 billion euros of cash from selected investor Tencent. And through that, what we learned was that they're going to carve out a subsidiary that would be all about Assassin's Creed, Far Cry, and Tom Clancy's Rainbow Six. Except I don't know how just shifting some things around will ultimately help what the core issue is, which is leadership and the kind of lack of creativity or a lack of boundary pushing experiences and products on the part of Ubisoft, who are sticking to formulas that they know and that they know are safe, and are sticking to a lot of trend chasing. And those are the aspects that really need to be fixed. Creating a subsidiary that ultimately changes nothing. I don't know how that was ultimately going to help Ubisoft. Now, with the most recent developments, Ubisoft has found itself in a situation where faith on the company is so low, even on the part of investors, that Ubisoft's stock price is at less than $1 per share, 95 cents per share. I don't know that we've ever seen Ubisoft stock dip this low. The lowest I see in this Google chart right here is back in like 2012 when it approached, $1. But yeah, suffice to say that Ubisoft stock price is some of the lowest, if not the lowest we have ever seen in company's history. And it all has to do with Ubisoft's recent announcement detailing how they plan to transform the company, and all of this is detailed right here by Video Games Chronicle. And as part of this transformation, one of the things that Ubisoft felt obligated to do was cancel a bunch of projects, delay a bunch of others, and close down some studios. Or as Video Game Chronicles puts it right here, 6 games canned, 7 delayed, and 2 studios closed. This was confirmed directly by Ubisoft. And for years now, this has just been such a common trend for Ubisoft. So even back in 2023, we saw Ubisoft cancel 3 unannounced games, delay Skull and Bones. We saw games like Frontiers of Pandora, the Avatar game, get delayed during its marketing campaign. We saw Ubisoft delay Assassin's Creed Shadows at one point as the stakes surrounding this game grew higher, with Ubisoft becoming so dependent on this game's financial performance to define its future. Like, it's ridiculous how commonplace this kind of thing is becoming for Ubisoft. And that brings us to today. 6 canceled games, it reads right here, did not meet Ubisoft's new enhanced quality expectations, whatever the hell that means, it said, including the much-delayed Prince of Persia Sands of Time remake, a mobile title, and 4 other unannounced games, including 3 original IPs. That's right, folks. Prince of Persia remake is officially canceled. In fact, on Twitter, you'll find that the Prince of Persia Twitter page posted the following statement: to the Prince of Persia community, we want to share with you directly. We have made the difficult decision to stop development on Prince of Persia Sands of Time remake. We know this is deeply disappointing. The game carries enormous meaning for fans and for the teams who worked on it. While the project had real potential, we weren't able to reach the level of quality you deserve, and continuing would have required more time and investment than we could responsibly commit, and we didn't want to release something that fell short of what the Sands of Time represents. Prince of Persia as a universe and a legacy continues to matter deeply to us, and this decision does not mean we're stepping away from the franchise. Thank you for your passion, patience, and love for Prince of Persia, the Prince of Persia team. Yeah, that really sucks, but at the same time, from what we've seen of the Prince of Persia remake, it wasn't necessarily looking good. Like, you may recall that the announcement trailer for this came out back in, what was it, September 10th, 2020, over 5 years ago, and it looked like this. It just didn't look great, and the backlash was so severe against it that they decided to delay the game. Believe it or not, the original release window for this game was January of 2021. The game had been in development for 2.5 years by Ubisoft's Indian studios before they had to change plans on that front. But with concerns surrounding its quality looming eventually in 2023, it was announced that Ubisoft Montreal, the original developers of 2003's Sands of Time, it was decided that they would take over development, but even they couldn't salvage what was there, and Ubisoft felt the need to cancel it. Prince of Persia Sands of Time is a really special game, and people would have loved to see a remake done properly, and were anticipating this game when they announced a delay that would hopefully mark a significantly improved showcase of the game. But at the same time, maybe it was for the best that this got canceled, given that early signs showed that this game was in for rough tidings. I think it's better that than to sully the memory of the original game. But still, it sucks that it all played out the way it did, and that Ubisoft ultimately mismanaged a remake of Prince of Persia Sands of Time, which I think a lot of people would have really enjoyed in this modern day and age. That's on top of canceling 3 original IPs that were set to be created, which highlights that Ubisoft is less prone to Prince of Persia Sands of Time, which I think a lot of people would have really enjoyed in this modern day and age. That for them, the lack of risk and innovation, so it's almost like a snake eating its own tail kind of a situation. As for which 7 games were delayed, that's something that Ubisoft didn't go into detail, but one of the speculated games that were delayed is the remake of Assassin's Creed Black Flag. And will now be released before April of 2027. It all just seems to align where it seems to suggest that, based on information we know, Assassin's Creed Black Flag was among the titles delayed, not canceled, but still pushed back pretty significantly for essentially polish and quality assurance. And, you know, not to say that game delays are a bad thing if it ultimately means we get a better product, but the fact that this has been such a consistent pattern for Ubisoft, the constant cancellation of games, the constant delay of games, and when games do eventually come out, not ultimately meeting the critical and commercial reception that they expected, all that culminates in what feels like a woefully mismanaged game publisher. As for studio closures and layoffs, we do know that the two studios that were closed were Halifax and Stockholm, and that in terms of layoffs, they haven't specified an exact number, but among the studios that were shut down, there will be people who, some will be reshuffled into the company and others will be let go. And that finally brings us to this new corporate structure that Ubisoft came up with to try to salvage their creative output and to try to make their company more efficient and whatnot. And it's all described in this screenshot right here, where now their creative teams are going to be divided into creative houses. So the first creative house is just Vantage Studios, and then you've got Creative House 2, 3, 4, and 5, and all of them are going to be supervised by Ubisoft HQ and supported by this creative network, a network of studios partnering with all creative houses to provide best-in-class production capacity, as well as partnering with Core Services, a separate team that will provide shared, standardized, and scalable services that enable the brand and projects teams to focus on their core missions. And the different creative houses will each individually have their own leadership, and each one will essentially be designated a genre, with the exception of Vantage Studios, the first creative house, which will to focus on their core missions. And the different creative houses will each individually have their own leadership. Creative House 2, which will be dedicated to competitive and cooperative shooter experiences, including The Division, Ghost Recon, and Splinter Cell. Creative House 3 will operate a roster of select, sharp, live experiences such as For Honor, The Crew, Riders Republic, Brawlhalla, and Skull and Bones. Then we have Creative House 4, which will focus on fantasy worlds and narrative-driven universes like Anno, Might and Magic, Rayman, Prince of Persia, and Beyond Good and Evil. And yes, apparently Beyond Good and Evil 2 is still in development. Somehow, I don't know how, like Prince of Persia remake gets canceled before Beyond Good and Evil 2, given that that's a game that's been in and Beyond Good and Evil. And yes, apparently Beyond Good and Evil 2 is still in development. Somehow, Creative House 5, which Ubisoft says is aimed at reclaiming our position in casual and family-friendly games in brands including Just Dance, Uno, and Hasbro. And the way it works is that each creative house is its own sector, and essentially specific development studios that fit the genre and criteria of certain creative houses will be essentially assigned to that creative house, while some will be assigned to the creative network team and work with multiple houses. So the idea is to create these layers of hierarchy that fit the genre and criteria of certain creative houses will be essentially assigned to that creative house. Creative houses to consult a select team that will aid them in their endeavors, so on and so forth. As highlighted right here by Video Games Chronicle, each of the creative houses will have its own leadership and end-to-end responsibility for its portfolio, from development to publishing and financial accountability, which Ubisoft hopes will help it make better, faster decisions and lead to more hit games. The creative houses will be supported by a creative network team, which will share studio expertise and provide co-development support, as well as a core services group, which will focus on technology, QA, localization, business planning, and more. Now, whether this restructuring will have any tangible impact on Ubisoft's ability to create games more efficiently and to make them, which will focus on technology, QA, localization, business planning, and more. Now, whether this restructuring of Ubisoft, when he talked about this restructuring and this revitalization of Ubisoft, and along the way said this: we are transforming Ubisoft's operating model to produce exceptional quality games on the two core pillars. In the open world format that Ubisoft just seems so enamored with that they kind of recycle that formula without making significant steps forward on that front or significant refreshing like evolutions that allow this genre to feel fresh, and the games as a service stuff that has tanked them. Like, yes, Rainbow Six Siege was a big success for them, but that's the exception, not the norm. The other live services that Ubisoft has tried to output have all but failed. Whether we're talking about that cyberpunky battle royale game Hyperspace, whether we're talking about Skull and Bones, or whether we're talking about their attempt at a Call of Duty-like in the form of X-Defiant, which also flopped and they had to shut it down. In my opinion, Ubisoft's core issues have nothing to do with the corporate structure, though I'm sure there are aspects of that that do impede aspects of development, and maybe some restructuring will help with efficiency and whatnot. But when it comes to like their game's ability to sell and to be mega hits, like aside from established franchises like Assassin's Creed, the reason why all of them fail is because it just feels like Ubisoft is so far behind when compared to the competition in the genres that Ubisoft tackles. The other development studios are just pushing more boundaries, are essentially just like setting new bars that Ubisoft just isn't, because they've gotten so like stagnant in the way they develop games, because the creative aspect of Ubisoft feels so much more stifled. So at the end of the day, what helps a game company is when people buy their games. And if you can't like earn their interest by showing something genuinely compelling, instead of playing it safe and using either the same trend chasing formulas or using the formulas that have worked for you in the past, but you somehow can't evolve past them and keep trying to like factory churn out similar type games instead of pushing the boundaries of the genres that you help popularize, then yeah, you're going to fall behind and you're going to be supplanted by companies that do try to push for developers having creative autonomy that allows them to take a genre and make it fresh again. And yeah, there's plenty of commentary out there about Ubisoft's recent like transformation, as well as their commitment to things that have ultimately been the things that have made them fail. So for example, like Legendary Drops right here highlighted how Ubisoft's plan to fix everything is literally just doubling down on the same thing that made them fail. Brilliant, simply brilliant. That is kind of what it feels like. Others are highlighting just some of the baffling decisions that we've seen Ubisoft make in recent months and years. So Nick Tech, for example, says, so far Ubisoft has canceled Prince of Persia Remake, canceled Assassin's Creed post-Civil War game, which sounded kind of cool, delayed most likely Assassin's Creed 4 Resynced, and 6 other games, effectively put Watch Dogs franchise on hold or dead and buried. With the last Watch Dogs game, while there was some cool mechanical aspects, once again, that tried and tired Ubisoft formula that they haven't been able to evolve enough to make that genre feel fresh from Ubisoft, I think also killed the Watch Dogs series. Canceled the Splinter Cell game that was in development. Canceled Star Wars Outlaws 2 before it entered full production. What's going on at Ubisoft? Well, I mean, cancellations happen when a company deems that a project, like continuing its development and spending more money on it, is just not worth the risk of its failure, when they feel like the project will end up ultimately costing them more than it will make them money. But all of this just feels so self-inflicted by Ubisoft because they're so like risk adverse, or because they're just not pushing boundaries enough with their creative output. And instead of blaming it on just the lack of pushing boundaries, what they blame it on is that, oh, people are not interested in these kinds of games anymore, when that is plain and simply false. When other developers do it and they do formulas that Ubisoft has helped popularize, but they do it better and they find ways to evolve that formula and advance the genre, that's when people are like, ooh, this feels like a game that I would spend dozens of hours on and not get bored. There's plenty of interest surrounding types of games that Ubisoft is canceling within their own studio. If you look at the sales out there of games that have tackled similar genres, it's just, again, a situation of like Ubisoft being a snake that's eating its own tail. Like, people will show up if your game is boundary pushing, and Ubisoft just hasn't been able to do that for far too many years. And the Ubisoft logo, in turn, has become not that interesting to look at. And, you know, it's not a logo that inspires hype anymore. And that's what Ubisoft needs to get back. All this restructuring won't matter if they don't get that back. The hype that people experience when they see a certain company's name show up in a trailer, you know what I mean? And that starts with letting developers cook and expanding the level of creativity that you allow, and yeah, taking some risks. But, you know, with Ubisoft being in the position that they're in right now, you know, they feel the need to play it safer, because risk right now could sink this company due to how financially precarious things are, due to the constant failures that resulted from leadership's management of their studios and the creative output. Again, snake eating its own tail. A vicious cycle that will continue a downward spiral if something doesn't change about the creative output more than like the way the organizations are organized. Or at the very least, that's one man's take, and this is kind of what you need to know about the recent developments surrounding Ubisoft and the way they're restructuring as a last-ditch attempt to save a sinking company. We'll see if all this ultimately does yield better creative output, more for show than anything, and it ultimately doesn't change leadership and the way they handle projects, the way they handle studios and IPs. Share your thoughts on all of this in the comments below, and to be further updated on all things gaming news, reviews, and discussions, stay tuned right here on Young Yeah. I'll see you guys next time. Young out.
On January 2nd, 2026, an officer conducted a traffic stop on a U-Haul truck after observing that the front windshield was damaged, and further noted that the vehicle matched the description associated with a prior domestic-related call.
Hello, Sergeant Malsheimer with Key West Police. Well, your windshield's completely smashed, so that's an issue. It's an obstruction of your view, so. You have your license, and then the vehicle registration. I know it's a U-Haul, but usually it's in the glove box. Oh, there isn't one? Okay. Can you roll down that window for me? For the other officer? Is it yeah. Thank you. I'll be right back with you. I was told you guys were looking for this, and I heard the window is completely shattered anyway, the windshields.
Congrats, love the pictures.
Oh, thank you.
Hi, how are you? What is up with this windshield? Can you roll that down? Does it roll down anymore? Thank you. So what happened to your windshield? It got bashed in? Who bashed it in? A friend? Okay.
Yeah, you got glass all up on your dash there.
All right, you have did they take your driver's license? Did they ask you for it? Okay. All right, my friend, I'll be right back, okay?
Hey, boss. Hey, so it smells a little bit like marijuana. You have a medical card? What? Wait, do you have a medical card? No? All right, you want to do me a favor? Just jump out for us.
Okay. Do me a favor. Come over here. Come this way, okay? So, being that you don't have a medical marijuana card, there's some shake in the front of the car. We can search the car, okay? Do you have anything illegal on you? No. Okay. So what he's going to do is he's going to search your pockets. All right?
I'm not consenting to a search.
Okay, but we have probable cause. You don't have.
Yeah, it's not about
That's for the vehicle, not me. I'm not consenting to a
Okay,
search.
but there was illegal items in
No, there
the
wasn't.
vehicle? Yes.
It's
Would you like me to
glass?
show it to you?
Yes.
Okay, come on right over here and I'll show you, okay? Do you see this right here?
Yeah.
That's called shake. That's illegal to have.
Marijuana?
Yes, marijuana is not legal in the
It's
state
not.
of Florida.
I said it's from the greenhouse. I explained that already.
Okay, but it's still shake.
It's from the greenhouse. It's not. It's not medical marijuana.
So it's also
card.
not in the original container.
That it needs to be.
It needs to be in a container, the original container from the greenhouse, regardless of what it is.
Because he has a destroyed front windshield.
Yeah, but they said something about that like a couple weeks ago, and they just.
I wasn't there, but I don't know. I didn't even know this was the same call. I just pulled up to back up the traffic stop. That's all. That's the reason for the stop, because of the windshield. The traffic unit saw him with the windshield. Yeah. You guys from Florida or Arizona?
I'm from.
Florida. Okay, I just saw the Arizona tag.
Literally got that from that.
Oh, the one here in town? Okay. Yeah, if they rent it to you that way. Yeah, all right. Do me a favor, just stay over here. I'll let them know that that's how you guys rented it, okay? That's the other half from the 22 verbal from earlier, La Concha. Okay. He's saying that they rented it to him that way.
Okay.
We were out with this guy earlier, and he's kind of up and down.
He's saying he rented it to him that
That's
way?
what he said. He rented it here in Key West.
Told me he pulled over for before,
Yeah.
and he's allegedly been told to route, but that's obviously
He said the same exact thing. So.
but that's obviously an instruction. And without a medical card, we can't tell whether or not but it's not in a container. So that's what gives us probable cause to search the vehicle and you.
I'm not consenting to a search.
Well, it's not a debate. It's not a
Being
choice.
searched today.
So
Okay, well, at
that's
face
gonna
value,
happen.
it looks like there's illegal items in the car. So, okay. All right, come back this way.
Don't go over there.
I'm not. Don't. Hey, stop, bro. Stop. Hey. Relax. Get off of me.
Back up! You're not gonna win. You're not gonna win, sir. Get on your stomach. Get on your stomach now.
He's gonna be fine.
Y'all are detaining me, by the way. Very rough detainment.
As soon as you pull your hand away.
Okay.
Scotty! Stop! Stop!
Thank you. Not smart, sir. Appreciate that.
Yeah.
Get up. Stand up.
I think y'all like are the only cops in the world. Y'all could be assholes and crooked. The law is still the law. So y'all can detain me roughly, try to scare me. I'm still just
Not right now. You need to go 25 feet over there.
Can I talk to an officer?
I am an officer.
No.
No,
Why?
not right now because he's detained. So I'm going to tell you one more time, or you're also going in cuffs. 25 feet. Go. Thank you.
Don't talk to me.
25 feet. 25 feet.
Widen your stance.
I wasn't running.
Widen your stance.
I didn't even.
Widen your stance, sir.
I wasn't running.
Let go of this.
I can have my phone.
No.
Can I give it to my friend?
Nope.
Let go. There you go. There we go. There we go. There we go. That's why you didn't want to stay. Oh, no. That's why you wanted to walk away.
I wasn't walking.
So your whole I didn't do nothing story, it just fell apart. Just stop.
Yeah.
There we go. Now the rest of the story comes out. See all that racism and BS you were talking? That's all lies. All lies.
So we're not the ones being
You sit upon a throne of lies.
You guys are still being rough for no reason. Microaggression. For no reason.
So anyway,
Yeah.
we tried to explain everything to him, and he got sassy.
Well, yeah. Plus, you're telling him where to go, and we just had a domestic with this guy allegedly.
Yeah.
Like, you're not gonna walk over
No.
to this guy and then go the opposite direction.
No.
You go. Nobody else is in there, right?
No, I mean, we didn't check the back, but
It's always someone else's fault. We're gonna get in this vehicle right here. Man, you don't know what violence is, buddy. If you think that's violent, you've never experienced violence. What's that Velcro for, boy? Holding up your pants?
mouth?
My mouth? It's actually kind of funny.
You got him. I'm gonna get Jimmy.
Yeah, that's fine. Widen your stance again. You got anything up in your crotch? All right. Listen, partner. If you got anything else on you, let me know. If you introduce it to the jail, it's going to be another felony, okay? And they're going to scan you.
Wait, this is a felony?
It's a felony. All right? Go ahead and take a seat. I don't know what this is all about, was that it? Go on, Cole.
What's that?
I take it this is his other half.
Yeah, that's what Beer Guy was telling me, is that
Okay.
he's the other half of the domestic at the Casa Marina, I guess.
Well, I thought he was.
I mean, those two.
Yeah, I didn't know who this
To me.
guy was. Yeah.
Yeah, so he's the other half of driver.
Okay, got it.
Lipstick.
Ah, good boy. That's a good boy. Come on. That's a good boy.
Hidey holes here, look. Pay attention to these little details. This would be a perfect hidey hole for something, right? All right, so we got some pills in here that don't belong in this bottle.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe Xanax. This is a pain relief, acetaminophen.
So are the let's see what
Well,
it's-
5525.
Looks like he's eating half of them.
Got a scale. Goes in the trash. Not much, but. And then.
Right here.
The male subject was charged with resisting arrest and 2 counts of possession of a controlled substance, specifically marijuana and methamphetamine. Following review of the related domestic incident, no criminal charges were filed in that matter.
On October 31st, 2025, officers responded to a call of a road rage incident in which multiple people were attacked with pepper spray.
We have EMS responding.
Whatever she
They wanna
sprayed
check you out.
is that. All over my glasses, burning my face, my mouth.
Hold on. Did it come out of a bottle or
Squirt gun, it looked
a
like.
squirt gun? Okay. Were they like dressed up and
Yeah, she was wearing weird clothes.
like a Halloween
Yeah, I don't know if
costume?
anybody else was with her. I only saw her, but she apparently following and screaming at my friend. So she said,
You think
"Hey,
she
this
knows them?
No, with my friend. She said, "Hey, there's somebody screaming and they're pointing a gun at me. I'll be there in a minute." I said, "I'll be out front."
Okay.
So I was standing on the porch, staying out of it. My friend pulled up. The lady came down the street, yelled, "You!" And then turned around and came back. And she stopped here and kept screaming at her.
Okay.
So my friend was filming it. So I walked over calmly, and I said, I said, "Ma'am, you need to relax. Stop screaming at people." I said, "Road rage is a bad idea." She started shooting me in the face with a squirt gun. I flicked a cigarette at her and ran. Well, I didn't run. I ran around back and called 911 and gave the plate number.
So also with your neighbor. I understand, but did the suspect also shoot your neighbor?
No, my friend. She went up to try to film it. She started shooting at her. Her face was burning. I'm lucky I had the glasses, but now they're probably ruined and I need them.
Yeah. Do you have an ID also?
Yes, ma'am.
So he sprayed her or you first?
It was her.
Okay. So she was out here.
My friend came here.
Right.
Got out of her car with her dog and was walking towards there. This lady pulled in. Well, she went by her because I saw her. She said it was. I said the white SUV. She said yeah. A minute later, she pulled in down the road, yelling out her. And then she turned around and came back and stopped. And she didn't have the window. She kept giving the finger and pointing. Then she put the window down and started screaming. So that's when I came out of the porch. I literally calmly walked up to her. I said, "Ma'am, you need to stop screaming. You need to just move along." Yeah, not you. I said, "Ma'am, road rage is a bad idea." And she started squirting it into my face. I was probably this far from the window, so I just squirting it. I went, flicked my cigarette and took off behind the car and called 911.
Okay. And then they already had the vehicle pulled over?
If you knew how she was dressed, I assumed you did.
So...
I want to press charges of whatever the charge is of shooting me in the face with a caustic acid.
Yeah.
That's like I don't know how firm I mean...
It's a crime.
It's pretty
So, yeah. And, yeah, it helps that we already have them.
I don't know if it's assault, if it's battery, if it's attempt, I don't know, but
it's definitely battery.
Yeah.
Because she shot you with it.
And with what's appeared to be a gun. She pointed what looked like a gun at me and fired it.
When you say appeared to look like a gun, was it like black in color? What color was it?
I think it was red.
Red?
Like,
okay.
It looks plastic.
Like a toy spray gun.
I thought it was water at first, and then it started to burn.
Right, I understand. Okay. Yeah, I'm not sure what it was. It could have been some sort of like pepper spray, maybe?
It wasn't under pressure. Pepper spray is an aerosol.
No, I know, but you never know. They could have sprayed it with it. I'm just saying.
Whatever that brown was and whatever did that to the surface of my glasses, which
it was
those
brown?
are expensive. Those are my I wear sunglasses
I understand.
now.
Yep.
I know it's not. I'm just.
No, it should have not happened. I completely understand. Okay, just quickly go through what happened today from start to end.
I was driving here from my house. Traffic's already bad. I mean, the traffic's been bad today. She, I don't know, she tried cutting me off. Or she did cut me off. But, she was following me. I have it on recording. She was threatening me. She tried running me off the road. She did, I think, at one point ran me off the road at an intersection at the lights back here. I got to my destination and she drove past, and then she came back and she's trying to threaten to get out, like to fight me. So I approached her vehicle and she sprayed something at me with like a squirt gun.
Was she saying anything to you when this happened about why?
She was calling me. She was calling me a meth head. She was threatening to fight me. She wanted to fight me. I mean, it's in the recording, and what she was saying, I believe. I hope it is anyway. But yeah. From what she was threatening to shoot me at one point, and she did. Dozer, come on. I mean, that's really it. It's just road rage.
Okay.
It was just road rage, and she's.
That's all right. Do you wish to add, change, or delete anything from the statement you just given me?
No, that's the best of my knowledge. That's what happened. I mean, I don't understand why.
Okay.
So it is going to hurt for a little bit, okay? Make sure you're facing the air, okay? Face towards me. You gotta face towards the air because that's what's gonna help open all your pores and try to get everything out faster, okay? Facing the air, okay? Face towards. Not a lot, okay? And that will help, okay? Don't just breathe.
Yeah, it's on top of everything else. That's all.
Just breathe, okay? Because it'll make you hyperventilate. It'll make it really bad where you can't feel like you can breathe. Okay? All right. It will go away. It takes time. Okay. When you take a shower, don't stand straight up. That stuff goes straight down. Yeah, what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yeah. Sir, you understand? When you shower, don't stand straight up. It goes down.
You let it.
Because if it goes down, you know where it's going, and it's not gonna. And it's gonna get a second. You're gonna get a second hit of it down there. Okay. So lean forward over it. Okay. If you have a fan, sit in front of a fan. It'll help open everything up and get it out.
I should go get in my shower.
Okay. All right.
Because she clipped my car as we were driving. She got into a turn lane to cut me off and clipped the car. So I wanted to pull over and get her information because she wouldn't pull over. So I did. I followed her to where she pulled in, and I said, "You clipped my car." I said, "I need your information." And she said to her dog, Dozer, to get up here, did this to my car, and had the dog jump up here, and then she was leaning into my car, so her father walked up to my car and said to get them out of here before he takes care of me. And then she started kicking the side of the car.
Okay, do me a favor, just for right now, step out of the vehicle and we'll just have you stand back over on the grass over here, right? Don't get this all.
To get his gun, so I pulled out from that area.
So who's this girl? Is it the girl that supposedly sideswiped you?
The girl, she was back here. I felt what felt like she hit the side of the vehicle because she literally got into a turn lane that she should not have been on at all. And she literally swiped me out of the road to where I almost hit another car. So I thought she hit the car. I wanted to get her information because I thought we had touched. Because she did. She got so super close. Either my car shook from me having to take my brakes.
So where were you at when she allegedly hit the car? Like, were you driving?
Right by McDonald's. We were coming up in that area, right by Key Agency.
So on Beach Road?
Mm-hmm. So not Beach Road, but coming from Venice. I'm coming from work.
So coming from Venice down 776? Yes. So that's passing Beach Road. That's Beach Road right there.
Passing Beach Road. Okay. I wasn't on Beach Road.
Okay. And you felt
I thought that she hit the car, so I wanted to get information because I wasn't going to just let her get away with it if she did. This is my mom's car. My car's getting the brakes work done, so my mom let me use her car to take it to work today.
Okay. What's going on with your hand? You need EMS?
That's me. No, that's just me. When I was telling her that she needed to pull over, I hit it on the side of my car by the window. Because I popped my hand back in because I told her to pull over because I thought she hit the car that we had bumped a little. Because she literally came over.
So you followed her, you saw
information from her information, and as soon as I did, she walked up to my passenger side because I had the passenger window rolled down. She said, "Dozer, get in here, Dozer, attack." So I grabbed my pepper spray, and then she leaned into my window telling the dog to attack, to get into my car. Her dad walked up because he heard the commotion, and he said, "You need to get out of here before I take care of you." Came up acting violent.
But why would you not just call us and let us handle it, then you go put yourself in that
lane, sir? I grew up in this town. I know lane is. I know
so do I. Trust me, so do I.
Puts you in that
Right.
situation.
But
Yeah.
that's why I left,
Listen.
because I wasn't about to get shot over somebody sideswiping my mom's car, or what I thought she had done, because she got super close, like I said.
So in the future, in the event of anything like that happening again, don't approach like that. Yeah, so go up the street, get their tag information, and let us know. Just call us and let us know what happened. Okay?
Like
Trust me,
I
grew up.
I got nervous, like, because
Trust me,
her dad started.
Trust me, I grew up in this town too. I know the lane's like, that's why we're here. That's why you call us.
Right.
Okay? We're literally all right up the road. Okay? Do you have a driver's license?
I do. It's all
No. You're fine. All right, Dorothy. So give me a rundown of this incident from beginning to end. Please be specific. Take your time.
Starting at the beginning, so it's probably roughly around anywhere between about 4:30 to 4:40 in that time period. I was coming
4:15 to
basically
4:30?
southbound from Venice,
Okay.
coming back over to, I was on my way to go meet my friend to go ahead and make cupcakes for Halloween.
Okay.
And my mom was going to pick up my daughter from me from daycare and drop her off over there and everything later.
Okay.
So as I was driving, I was just driving, going down the road. I had a female who came up on the side in a turn lane and basically veer over in front of me, where I thought she had clipped the front of my mom's car. Either I had to hit my brakes so hard it made my car shake.
So what made you think she clipped it? What, did you feel anything like that?
I felt what felt like a douche, not
Okay.
like a big one, but made contact.
Some form of impact.
Yes,
would
I
be
thought
fair.
there was some form of contact, some sort of impact that happened. So I told her to pull over. She refused to pull over. She got out her phone, recorded me the entire time. I kept telling her to pull over, pull over. She flicked me off. I flicked her off. We had road rage, little incident going back and forth. I did follow her to her residence, where she pulled in, and to where I went down 2 driveways down, pulled around and everything, because it was right there as you come off the turn. I didn't want the car to get hit, so I went ahead. I turned 2 driveways down. I pulled in, turned out, pulled up to where she was at her stop, and I said, "You hit my car. You wanted to fight me." I said,
you pulled up further down.
I pulled up to and it's the very first driveway is where she had pulled into a parking space.
So you guys were coming down. You guys had your little road rage incident with the fingers and everything after the apparent alleged.
Yes.
Possible
what I thought
contact.
was an impact on the car. I wanted to get her.
And you followed her. She turned right into.
And turned right into the driveway. Yes.
Okay. So
And
she
that's
leaned
when
in. So she leaned in.
She did. She leaned in all the way from chest. Like her boobs were in my car.
Okay.
It was under. The window seal was under.
So fair to say that the entire top half of her torso was in the car. Okay.
Yes.
All right. So what happened?
From here up was all inside my passenger side.
Okay.
And as she did that, she got out from that vehicle. She was doing this like, and that's when her dad was right here at my car, because she was right here and her dad was right here, and he went like this to start yelling at me as well.
Okay. Okay.
And from that incident with doing that, then her dad, he ran off back to the side and started taking pictures and doing all of that. She continued to tell the dog to attack me, and then that's when I drove off. Her dad, I could also hear him saying that he was going to go ahead and take care of this, and he'd take care of me. So with those types of forms of words being said, I drove off.
So he said that after they both have been Narcan?
Yes.
Okay, so he said that after both have been Narcan, and you were already on your, making an attempt to drive away.
To make attempt to drive away.
Okay. So you sprayed her, and she was kind of kicking the door. That's when it was at that point. At that point,
it started getting worse and burning, and then that's when she actually turned and went like this. And when she did that, that's when I took my chance to leave.
Like I said, nothing else you want to add, change, or delete from the statement? Is there anything that we talked about prior to the sworn statement that we have not talked about on the sworn statement that we want to talk about?
Nope, we talked about everything that was discussed.
Talked about everything, so there's nothing else that's pertinent to this incident or anything. Everything in detail has been discussed.
Everything in detail has been discussed.
All right. So we're going to put your hands behind your back. You're going to be under arrest for battery times 2. All right? Put your hands together like you're praying, all right? Palms together. Palms together. Nope. There you go. Perfect. You tight?
Is there anything in your bag right here?
I have lollipops and a gift card.
I'm just going to put this for you, okay?
No. Too tight? Okay.
Can I roll the window up to the car, guys?
We'll take care of it. Yeah, we got that for you. No, you already took that off you?
Your purse and anything like that?
All right.
What was that?
All right, so you're gonna have to be searched before you get put in my car.
Nope, you're good.
Okay. All right.
The woman was charged with battery on both individuals for deploying the pepper spray. Thanks for watching today's video. If you haven't already, please like and subscribe for more of our content.
On November 1st, 2022, Columbia County Dispatch received a 911 call reporting a bicyclist had been struck by a vehicle in Lodi, Wisconsin. The caller witnessed the incident and saw the striking vehicle flee the scene. They were able to provide deputies with a description of the vehicle and the direction they went. A side view mirror was also found under the bicyclist from the suspect's vehicle. Moments later, a Lodi police officer located a vehicle they believed was involved in the crash and notified Columbia County deputies. The driver was identified as 43-year-old Marie Pinkston.
Was she pulled over or driving? She was driving. I saw her. I checked the all-stop. I was going back. Yeah, and I saw she didn't have a passenger near on a Mercedes. I'm like, oh, that's weird. And the first thing she said was, I thought I hit a person, so.
I'm being temporary. We need assistance on scene.
Hi, Marie.
Hi.
You have your kids with you right now?
Yes, I do.
Can I talk to you out here?
Yes.
Affirmative. Did you get a return on the plane?
So tell me what happened, please.
So I was leaving my house to pick my kids up from school, and I did hit something, I did, but I was going to be late to pick them up. I thought I hit a sign. I didn't know I hit a person.
Where was this at?
Right by my house. I thought I hit a sign, and I'm like, well, fuck, I just fucked my car up.
Okay. Were you, when this happened, were you on the road, or?
Yes, I was on the road.
So
Yes.
I guess, how would you hit a sign if you were on the road?
Well, you know, you veer off a little bit. So I just came from Rockford, Illinois, because I picked my father-in-law up last night so they could see him trick-or-treating.
Okay.
And I dropped him off. I even got a speeding ticket because I was going fast. I was going fast because I didn't want to be late to pick them up. Oh my God, is the person okay?
I don't know that right now. Potentially not. So, okay. So you left your house on J, and you were going to
I stopped home after... Oh my God. This is a lot for me right now. I didn't mean to hurt anybody.
Okay.
So I came from Rockford. I even got a speeding ticket because I didn't want to be late to pick them up. Yes, I got the ticket in the car.
Okay.
And so I stopped at home and then got my car to pick them up. And I was driving down the road. I dropped my phone. I picked it up. I did hit something. I thought I hit a sign because there was nobody. I didn't see nobody. I'm like, oh fuck, I just hit something.
Okay. And then you went to the schools, grabbed your kids?
Yes.
And then how'd you end up over here?
So we were going to stop at the gas station.
Okay.
I forgot they had all the candy from trick-or-treating. So I'm like, well, let's go to the gas station. They like to stop there. And then they said, oh, you know, we don't need candy. We have all... I'm like, okay, fine. Let's go home then.
Okay. So you thought you had a sign. Well, why didn't you stop to check, though?
Because I was going to be late to pick my kids up. I've never been late to pick my kids up. And that's what I told the officer that pulled me over. Hello? I just hit a person. I just want my kids to go somewhere if I'm going to jail.
Yeah, if somebody can come get the kids, that would be good.
Am I going to jail?
We got to talk about a bunch of things and figure a few things out.
I just hit a person, Sam.
Maria is your first name, correct?
Yes.
What is
Will you please make sure the guy's okay, or the person that I hit?
What is your telephone number? The ambulance, did you see the ambulance go by?
No.
Just a few minutes ago, they're taking him to the hospital.
I didn't see nothing.
I don't know right now.
Oh my
What's
God.
your phone number, Maria?
Is there any way you can find out if the person's okay?
So I think they're doing okay. They're
Is he
going to
okay?
get the ambulance, okay? Yep.
While speaking with Marie, the deputy detected an odor of intoxicants coming from her person.
So today you came back from Rockford with your father-in-law?
Yes.
And you were running a little late, so you got
I
pulled
was
over.
running late. I got pulled over. I got a ticket. And so I stopped at home to let my dog out. And then I was leaving to go pick the kids up. And I hit something. I thought it was a road sign.
3534 1048 4.
How much alcohol have you had today?
None.
None at all?
No.
Okay, as I'm talking to you, I'm smelling something that
I
smells
drank
like
some
alcohol.
last night.
Okay, how much did you have last night?
Oh, I don't know. We were trick-or-treating. I was drinking. I got pretty drunk last night.
Were you
but
down in Rockford for that or up here?
No, up here. By the school.
When is the last time you had a drink?
40. 34, 35, 34.
6 o'clock last night?
6 p.m.? And so you got pretty drunk. How much do you think you had to drink?
Oh, I didn't get pretty drunk.
That's what you just said.
I got drunk. I didn't get pretty drunk. I mean...
And you've had no alcohol today?
No.
Do you do any recreational drugs, marijuana?
No, I just drove 4 hours.
Okay. The reason I ask is as I'm talking to you, I can smell
I'm
something
sorry.
that smells like alcohol coming
I
from your
did.
breath.
I had a meeting with my kid's school this morning at 8:15, and then I had to rush from there to pick my father-in-law up in Wanakee.
I thought you picked him up in Rockford.
No, I picked him up last night in Rockford,
Okay.
and I brought him here for trick-or-treating. He stayed the night.
Okay.
So then I had got up, and he had a meeting with all his IEP teachers. And then I left there. I went to Wanakee to pick up my father-in-law. My husband took him to work with them. So I picked him up, and we went to Rockford.
Today? You went to Rockford also?
Yes.
So you went yesterday and today?
Yes.
So you dropped him off in Rockford? Or?
Yes.
Okay.
He lives in Rockford.
Okay. So how much alcohol did you have today?
None.
Okay, because you're kind of confusing me with your story, because it's
I drank last night at trick-or-treating. So I went and picked my father-in-law up last night. I drove 4 hours to pick him up. I brought him here. He stayed the night. He lives 2 hours away. So it's a 4-hour trip. So I picked him up. I brought him here. He stayed the night. We went trick-or-treating. We had a couple drinks last night. A few drinks.
Okay.
Me more than them, but then I woke up. I had a meeting with his teachers, his IEP teachers, at 8:15. So when I left there, it was like 10 o'clock. Then I had to go to Wanakee because my husband took his father to work with them. He couldn't take him home, so I took him home. That was 4 hours. I got pulled over. I have the ticket in my car.
What time was it that you got pulled over and whereabouts?
Danny, I just hit a human being. Okay. Okay, I'm gonna let you go, okay? I'm probably going to jail. Is someone gonna bail me out of jail? Okay. I just hit, okay. You know, this is serious. I told you I hit a sign, but I hit a person. Serious. I hurt somebody.
1061 Blackstone to this vehicle, I'm smoking hollow, and we're going back to the
Okay. So, Marie, the first thing we need to do is we need to make sure that you're not impaired. Because I smell something coming from your breath, so I want to do a sobriety test. Okay, so what I'll ask you to do is just leave your phone in the car for now. We're going to walk back here, and we're going to do some field sobriety tests, and we'll go from there, okay? Just leave your phone in the car so it's not continuously ringing and distracting.
I'm not comfortable with that. I'm not leaving my kids.
What do you mean?
I gotta be able to here.
Yep, we're going to be...
Come.
We're just going to be right up here in front of this other car.
We'll
go up here in front of this.
All right, let me call my husband real quick.
Okay, hang on a second. Marie,
What?
why do you need to call your husband?
Because he told me to no longer have contact. He said get a lawyer.
Okay, you need to do field sobriety testing. That does not require a lawyer. Okay, I need you